Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Transformation Talk. I am here today with Kimberly Riggins. She is a body image and self-love expert, and she is the founder of the Watch Her Thrive project. Thank you so much for being here today, Kimberly.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So we have a lot of things that I want to ask you about today, but I'd love to just dive right in and start with your personal journey that got you to where you are today. And when you, on the Watch Her Thrive project page, you talk about having been raped and having suffering from an eating disorder. So can you talk a little bit about that and sort of what got you from there to here?
That's always a question everyone asks me. Yeah, when I was a young girl, I was date raped, and it completely changed the entire flow of my life. I was a kid who really had her head on her shoulders and always made like the right decisions and was smart and outgoing and athletic. And after that had happened, I just felt like I withered away. Like I literally waged a war on myself. And that's how the eating disorder actually started. But it was like after it all happened, I ran in the bathroom and I was literally just looking into the mirror and I could not recognize who I was. And rather than put all the hatred, which most people would think, like put the hatred towards whoever had harmed you, I literally took it on as my own, and I had guilt and shame and all kinds of crazy things going on. And I remember it like it was yesterday. After it happened, I literally laid on my bedroom floor and did not go to school for 2 days. And like my parents were like, "What's your problem? What's wrong?" And I just did not speak. I was like, I just pretended I was sick and I could not talk. And then it was weird. It was like I snapped up. I like got out of bed, I got off the floor, I got ready for school on the third day, and I like literally walked in and pretended nothing happened. But internally, I was falling apart. I mean, I still was a straight A student, I still got into college, I still, but I literally started abusing my body. I started starving myself and seeing how much I could go without eating. I started working out 6 hours a day. I mean, it was like 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, 2 hours in the evening. And by the time I got to college, I was doing that on a regular basis, sustaining myself on a bagel. It was crazy. Wow. And, so yeah, and it all stemmed, my true belief is it all stemmed from the pain and the suffering that I experienced through having my first sexual experience be of that nature and not knowing how to deal with it and feeling shameful and thinking that people would judge me and that they would not understand, or they would say things like, well, you deserved it, or, all those crazy thoughts that go through your head when you're that age. So that's actually where my journey started. I never in a million years would have thought that I would, go from there to here. But essentially, all of the things that you experience in your life, I believe, really kind of define who you become. And you can make a choice. You can either let it drag you down and affect your life in a negative way forever, or you can use the lessons you've learned and make something of it.
So where did that start to change for you? Where did that shift start to happen?
The shift of what? Making some changes? Or?
Well, yeah, like going from all this internal pain that was manifesting as an eating disorder and over-exercising. How did you come out of that, start dealing with the emotions, stop waging war on your body?
Yeah. It was Valentine's Day. I'll never forget it. I called home. I was at college. I was a freshman in college, and I called home and said, I'm coming home. It was my second week in my second semester. And I just was like, I had secretly been seeing a therapist there, and I literally was like falling asleep with a book on my face, wishing and praying that I was learning through osmosis. I was like flunking, and that's just not acceptable in my world because I was a straight A student and I didn't need to study, and now I couldn't even concentrate. So I knew that I had hit rock bottom. I knew that people were starting to recognize this. I was like living, eating, and dreaming, working out. It was just insane because that was the only way that I felt good in my body. It was the only way that I felt anything at this point. And so I went home and kind of licked my wounds for a while and put myself in a hospital, literally signed myself into a hospital, and stayed there for a couple weeks, and then did outpatient therapy for a couple years, and, you know, then did some coaching with other people, and, you know, I went back to school and started playing with what I wanted to do, and I became a personal trainer and thought that was the answer, like, let's live from this healthy standpoint. And that turned into me really recognizing and understanding that I still had major body image problems, even though I was eating and I was healthy again and I had put my weight back on and I was not looking at food as evil anymore. I still had these crazy negative thoughts that would be in my head, and my inner critical bitch was always screaming at me all the time. And so I started to do coaching, and nothing was working. Essentially, nothing was working. Then I got a degree in nutrition, and I got a master's in nutrition. I finished a degree in psychology, and it was just like I felt like there was this like spot where they were all coming together, but there was a hole. Mm. So essentially, I took it on myself and was like, okay, I need to figure this out because I can't fathom teaching other people this when I still have these uncontrollably negative, crazy-ass thoughts about my own body. So I dropped all my clothes, literally took off all my clothes, stood in front of the mirror naked, and cried the first day. And then started laughing at myself, and I started talking to myself and started appreciating my body, not for necessarily what it looked like, but for what it did for me. Like how amazing and I get goosebumps when I start talking about this, because it's like how amazing is your body that it can do all of these things. You know, and let's be, if I'm completely honest with you, until I actually gave birth to my son naturally, and, you know, you have this moment where you have this excruciating amount of pain, and you're like, please get him out of me. And then plus all of a sudden you have this relief, and then you have this amazing joy that you experience, right, when you hold your child for the first time. And for me anyway, that was like the pivotal moment. So all the work of standing in front of a mirror naked and getting more softer with all my flaws and loving that piece of me, and then going through childbirth, which everyone thought I was going to have a hard time with, you know, putting on baby weight, God forbid.
Right.
But, I handled it well, and it changed. It was like a switch in my brain. It was like, aha, I get it. All the work I did before led me to this moment, to have this experience, but also to walk away from it knowing that my body is this amazing, miraculous machine, and that I, you know, physically and emotionally can do anything. And so then I, you know, figured I was already teaching it, but I was doing more of the nutrition aspect of it, and I was drained. And then I worked with teenagers with eating disorders, and I was doubly drained. So then I was like, I want to teach women how to love themselves, how to infuse more joy into their day, how to dance around the room in their cheekies and have fun while doing it, and not care that they may not have the model-esque size 2 body. You know? So that's my journey.
Wow. Yeah. In a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, I sort of coming at it from the other angle, I went to a place of not losing all the weight after my first child, which I had to have surgically, unfortunately, after planning a home birth, and then having a miscarriage and a broken leg and a bed rest and a stillbirth, and was over 200 pounds by the end of it. And I did something very similar, where standing in front of the mirror and going, okay, I need to start appreciating and loving my body for what it does. And you're right, it's so transformative, and we don't think to do it. Like, we don't do it in our culture. Yeah. Everything's so compared to this impossible standard.
Well, you know, I say to people all the time, like, this impossible standard was created by us. You know, it essentially was created by us, by women. And the reality is that if you sit down and talk to 9 out of 10 models, they are going, and I've talked to models, and they are some of the most insecure women on the planet, and they're beautiful, and they were given these amazing genetics. It's not like they, you know, most of them are naturally slender, and they can't even help it. And the bottom line is that they're still not good enough, because this is going on, and painting and changing the shape of the eye, and they don't even recognize themselves sometimes. And to them, it's a job.
Right.
They don't walk around thinking, I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. They're walking around saying, damn, I am so flawed.
Right.
Because they can't even be accepted for who they are. They're already, primped and prodded and poked and redesigned and constructed, essentially.
That's such a great point, because I think most people don't know that, or they don't see it when they look at the magazine picture. They don't have that to compare it to, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Now it's funny, like I'll pick up a Victoria's Secret catalog, and I love their underwear and whatnot, so I purchase things from them, and I'm cool with that. I know some people are like, I can't believe you do that, and I'm like, because it's not about the women in the magazine, it's about the fact that they fit my butt. And I say I like them, okay? But the truth is that when I look at these magazines now, I can always immediately see where it's been doctored. And I almost feel sorry for them. Because it's like, they are beautiful. And they're going home looking at this and going, oh, wow, they made my thighs 2 inches thinner than they really are. And what is that saying about my self-worth? And so now I just try to appreciate all types of beauty. It's not going away. I mean, as many people as they fight it and as many people boycott it and whatnot, it's not leaving anytime soon. So let's just appreciate the beauty everywhere around us, whether it's, in a magazine, on a billboard, walking down the street, in a mall, on the subway, whatnot, right? I mean, let's not focus on all the stuff that we may or may not be able to change. Let's focus on the true beauty of the person, which is here. It's not here. It's here.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want really people to know, is that finding your center and being true to that doesn't matter what's up here. Yeah, okay, we are a world that likes beauty, but I think the more I get to know someone, the more they exude beauty. Whether they're the standard of beauty or not. And some of the most beautiful people in the world aren't considered standard beauty, but they are gorgeous in their own right, and they know it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that really helped me too was watching my own judgments about other people's bodies. Like being at a pool in Palm Springs, and everybody, you've got every different body type. You've got people covered in tattoos. You've got fake boobs. You've got tummy tucks, you've got overweight, you've got everything, and really watching how I thought about it, and then working on my my compassion and my celebration of people who were in bikinis without perfect bodies. Like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think one of the things I always practice with all the women that I work with is, like I say, like, today I want you to celebrate every size, shape, and person on the planet. So when you walk down the street, you're going to see a woman who's going to piss you off, who like, you're going to get this like weird, like, feeling because she might look nicer than you, or have the right boots, or the right coat, or the right face, or the skinny thighs that you've been dreaming about having. And instead of being negative about it, like, tell her she looks amazing. You know how often, how many women don't get as many compliments as you think from other women. And it is really nice that a woman has enough confidence in herself to walk up to another woman and say, you know what, I just wanted to let you know you look amazing today. Like, whatever you're doing is working. That is a huge compliment. And not only will it make her feel fantastic for the rest of the day, but it will change you. It will lighten you up, because I'm sure someone out there is thinking the same thing about you.
Yeah. Yeah, we play our cards so close to the chest, and it's so fun to pay compliments to strangers. It's a really fun thing to do.
Yeah, it totally is.
Awesome. Okay, tell us about the Watch Her Thrive project, because I want to know more about that.
Yes, the Watch Her Thrive project, in my current business, I felt like as many women as I was helping, achieve confidence and self-esteem and whatnot, I felt like there was this piece that was missing, and I needed to fulfill it. So when I did some soul searching and whatnot, what I recognized is that there are so many women on the planet who feel like no one supports them, that they feel like there's no way out, and they've been in these situations, or they're put in these circumstances, some that they have absolutely no control over, and they're not thriving. And so I have fallen on my face more times than I'd like to count. And what I've always been able to do is pick myself back up, kind of dust my shoulders off, and keep walking forward. And so that's like one of my innate superpowers, you know, that I call my superpowers. Like, I can fail, you know, some people's version of failure, and I can thrive, right? And it's because I have resources. And I think we all, you know, people who live in the United States especially, we have access to amazing resources if you choose to lose your pride and walk to them and look for them and be creative. But then there's other places like overseas and all over the world, and even in certain situations where women, they lose all their resources or they've never had them to begin with. So the Watch Her Thrive Project is really about helping those women who feel like, one, they don't have a voice, and two, who feel like there's nothing left for them, like they are losing hope and they have no courage and they don't have the strength to move forward in their life because there isn't anywhere to go. Like, they're feeling like, this is it for me and this sucks, right? So initially, the Watch Her Thrive Project was just going to be this one mission, and I was going to help these women from different war and torn countries around the world, and I was going to write this collaborative book, and all the sales and proceeds were going to go to Women for Women International, who I personally sponsor, a sister who's doing amazing, and she's going to be starting her own business, and it's just so awesome. And then I started realizing I want more than that. So my first mission is to do that, and it will be done, and the book should be out in, let's cross my fingers, May. Wow. And so that's all taking place right now. But as that's taking place, I am now going to be dedicating the Watch Her Thrive Project moving forward to women who've been domestically abused, who have been shunned from their homes, kicked out of their homes, running from abuse with children, without children, and they need to reestablish some roots and gain confidence and self-esteem and courage and strength, and to really help them thrive out of this space. Because I have been in situations where I felt like that. So, you know, especially women who have been raped. So it's going to be encompassing rape victims and domestic abuse survivors, essentially. So I want to help them, you know, whether it's helping them get a job by giving them a suit, or helping them give their children Christmas presents when they don't have any money to do that, or food on the table, or a warm place to rest, you know, fuzzy slippers and a robe for rape victims who are so damn scared to have that rape kit done. Even if, you know, locally, if I have to go there and hold their hand, because I know myself, there is no way that I would want anyone I knew to be in that space with me. It's just this head thing that you go through. And so, but you want somebody there. You want someone on your side. And you want someone who understands what's going on in your head and in your heart. So that's my big mission. We'll see. We'll see. I'm really dedicated to it. It's very slow moving. I have a 4.5-year-old son, so he takes up a lot of my time. So between that and my business, and, you know, so it will happen. It will happen.
Yeah. Well, it's so exciting. I mean, just even the book and the first wave is huge. And then to continue it and sort of create this ongoing support network is exciting, you know?
It feels right. I mean, it definitely feels right. People have keep asking, well, why aren't you doing eating disorders or, you know, body image? And I'm like, I can't really explain it. My heart's just not there. I feel really strongly about, there's so many resources and organizations that cater to the women who suffer from eating problems. I mean, I've used those resources, and it's not saying that I'll never do it. I mean, the whole organization, the Watch Her Thrive Project, is about embracing and celebrating women and helping them thrive. So I'm not limiting myself to, you know, who knows, 2014 could be that year. I don't know. But right now I feel very called to help the women who really, abuse is a huge, huge, huge issue that is so overlooked, and it's brushed under the rug. And a lot of the women, their feedback to them is, it's your fault, and it's not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's devastating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll have all the information about the Watch Your Thrive project if people want to know more or donate, and we'll also have your website in your bio on the blog here. Can you tell us, just before I ask the final 3 questions, can you tell us a little bit about your book, Love Your Naked Ass?
Yes. Wow, I feel like a lifetime ago that came out last December, and it really it's about taking small steps, like really small steps to love yourself, and the title is just like I always talk to my girlfriends, and whenever they're moaning and groaning about some part of their body, my response is always, would you just go love your naked ass already? Drop down your skivvies and start dancing around the room. So that's always been my answer to them, and they laugh, so it was just fitting that the title was called that. But really it's about digging in deep and doing something small every single day. So essentially you can open the book, there's 80 different ways, and you can open the book and follow the suggestion on any day. So it's not something you even need to read through from cover to cover, although most people do and then they go back. But it's literally like you can open it up and to be inspired. It's really about showing women that loving who you are from the inside out doesn't have to be this tumultuous, crazy, grandiose event. It has to start with one single step in the right direction. So it's like prompts and suggestions and ideas and actions that I ask women to take.
Nice.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, it makes me smile when I say it. So that's a good step right there.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so I always end with 3 questions, and the first one is, if you could wave your magic wand and change anything about the world, what would it be?
I know. I thought about this question because I know you sent it to me beforehand, but I would stop the abuse that happens in the world. I'm so 100% dedicated to men, especially men, taking their hands off women. Like there's nothing that angers me more when I see a woman walking down the street with bruises on her face, knowing full well that where she's gotten them from. That unnerves me. And I had myself in a situation where it happened to me, so I can't feel, there's nothing that I feel more stronger about. I think abuse is a huge thing that's overlooked.
Yeah. What brings you the most joy right now?
Moving my body right now, actually. I love sweating. That brings me joy. It keeps me centered, and it reminds me again of how amazing my body is. And so I need that constant reminder, because even though I teach this, and even though I, have lots of knowledge over this, if I don't feed my body and fuel my body and move my body, she comes back, she comes back. So that's how I get her to be quiet. And I don't over-exercise anymore, but just moving, whether it's yoga or Pilates or Zumba, or I'm not a creature of habit. So I'm in love with booty fitness right now, which is the cross between yoga, like funk dance, and all kinds of crazy, like, burlesque stuff. And it's really fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'd take that.
Yeah, actually, I'll send you information. It's really fun. It's so
cool. Okay, last question. What is one fun or unique fact about you that makes you uniquely you?
Wow. Silly enough, what makes me uniquely me physically, like for real, is I have a birthmark. It's actually a mole. It's about the size of an eraser on my inner left thigh. And so, as a child, when my mother was given the wrong baby, when they brought her back, like when they brought me back for a feeding, she knew that it wasn't me because of that mole was there when I was born. So I've never gotten rid of it, although I was very, very conscious of it and like overly ashamed of it when I was a kid. And as I grew into it and I grew up, it really marks me. And so, people, my husband would say, like, it's you, like, it's a piece of you. And now I embrace it because it's a piece of it's a part of me. I mean, but it's like, it's the head of an eraser.
Wow. And thank God you had it, or you would have been with the wrong family.
Exactly. Yeah. In a different country, no less.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that is my interesting fact about me that nobody probably knows.
I know everybody does.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Kimberly. Good luck with the Watch Her Thrive project, and we'll definitely be supporting that, actually. And thank you so much. And I love that you're in the planet doing what you do.
Thank you.
On the planet, not in the planet. You know what I meant.
Our own planets. It's good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, take care.